Cyberpunk 2077 was one of the most anticipated games of 2020. After the success of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which was an incredible masterpiece and my personal favourite game of all time, everyone excitedly waited for what CD Projekt Red would deliver with Cyberpunk 2077. And after 8 years and 3 delays, it finally arrived on December 10th, 2020. And it went great. No, it didn't. It launched unfinished and buggy, with the last generation versions of the game being borderline unplayable with multiple glitches and crashes. But you've probably heard enough about that. Everyone has been talking about the terrible state of the game and how it launched. I'm going to be talking about the amazing RPG that is buried underneath all the controversy and bugs. So here's my assessment of Cyberpunk 2077. The assessment is my version of a review, which I'll do on this channel for games that I play. I'll rate games in 4 main categories. Gameplay: is the game fun to play, and how does the gameplay loop feel? Story: does the game have a strong narrative with interesting and diverse characters? World: how does the environment and the world building feel? Is it a believable world? And visuals: how does the game look? What is the art style, and how does that reflect when looking at the game? So, without further ado, let's get started. I played Cyberpunk 2077 on a PlayStation 5 for around 50 hours, completing the main story and majority of the side content. I experienced a few visual bugs here and there and quite a lot of crashes, mainly while I was driving around Night City, which definitely did interrupt my experience. Cyberpunk 2077's first-person gameplay feels nice and responsive. Weapons feel nice to use, and it is satisfying killing enemies, especially headshots with the pistols. There are a diverse choice of weapons to choose from, including melee weapons. The skill tree is very in-depth, allowing for multiple builds that can tailor to your specific playstyle. This is the same for the cyberware customization. The quick hacking feature is also a nice add-on that helps with defeating enemies, especially during stealth when you can turn off cameras or hack an enemy's optic system, making them temporarily blind so you can sneak past or take them out. Driving can feel a little clunky sometimes, as the cars can feel very sensitive, with the slightest turn on the stick making the car swerve to the left or the right. But altogether, Cyberpunk's gameplay loop is very fun and doesn't really get stale. I give its gameplay a 9 out of 10. Cyberpunk's main story is a lot shorter than I expected. The Witcher 3 had a very long main campaign, meanwhile this can be completed in around 15 to 20 hours. However, the side jobs that branch off from the main quest are what make the story complete. I did most of these side jobs before finishing the main story. The characters you meet in this game are very deep and interesting, with their own developed background and personalities. My favourite being Panem. Moving on, I think CD Projekt Red did an excellent job with the story and with the multiple endings, but I won't spoil this. Altogether, I give the story a 9 out of 10.
Got an offer for you, Patty, so listen up. Get the fuck out of Vista. Pull your boys off the street.
Night City is a beautiful open world that feels so real. The different districts and NPCs you can encounter throughout the city really bring the story to life. From the dark alleyways to the towering skyscrapers and sprawling markets, every part of Night City feels alive and lived in. I give the world a 10 out of 10. Cyberpunk 2077 looks gorgeous on the PS5 in 4K and 60 frames per second. When the sun is setting over Night City and the sun rays fall over the sea, it is breathtaking. The game looks the best during the night, as the city lights reflect off different surfaces, looking amazing and very realistic. The different character models for the NPCs also look great, especially with the cybernetic augments people have. This adds to the overall immersion. I give the visuals a 10 out of 10. To conclude, Cyberpunk 2077 is an amazing RPG that lives in many ways and it is a huge shame that the game launched when it was unfinished because most people don't get to experience the true masterpiece that the developers have created. All the focus is on the bugs and the crashes. My final verdict for Cyberpunk 2077 is a 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more gaming and entertainment content.